flag, a Christian flag, a rebel flag, Trump 2020 flag on one pole in that order right in front of his house. And I absolutely support your right to do that, but at the same time I'm fully willing to acknowledge that even around here your house is probably going to get egged. And I hate to admit it, but I mean, I ain't going to do it because there's a lot of things on that flagpole that I love and I do agree with. But putting yourself out there on that level in this day and age is pretty much just asking for somebody that doesn't agree with you to come mess with your stuff. Because people can't just live and let live anymore. You can't just disagree with somebody without hating their guts anymore. And apparently can't act like a grown adult anymore. My wife works with, that's really good friends with, lives in this little subdivision here. And when I first got the motorcycle, I was talking about riding around my neighbor's circle drive, and this lady sent me a picture of the guy from Dumb and Dumber when he got the little mini bike riding around with his half helmet and his mouth hanging wide open. So I said, if you don't watch it, I'm going to come ride around circles in your circle drive doing that. So ever since then, every now and then when I'm through this way, I'll come down in here and I'll make 3 or 4 circles in this lady's circle drive. Hey, dawg. Why would you do that? That trailer's pulled all the way across. I can't get through there. Crap. Or can I? Oh yeah. I was doing this one day and it freaked one of the little neighbor girls out. She was watching me out her window. She called this lady's daughter, who went and asked her mom. Her mom's like, oh yeah, that's probably just Chris. They're probably not even home. I know I didn't make a video on 9/11 about that subject, and if any of you are with me on Facebook too, I didn't make any posts about it there either. Don't take that to mean that date doesn't affect me in any way, because I was nowhere near when it happened. A lot of my friends are former military or still active military, some of them. And just besides that, the day that happened, I was enrolled at the University of Alabama. I was living in an apartment. Woke up that morning a little bit late because I didn't have class until the afternoon. So I woke up just in time to see the second tower get hit. And it took me a little bit to figure out what all was going on. And then one of the best friends that I made while I was down there, other than like when I was still in the dorms, the guys that I was rooming with, was a northern gentleman. Which, if you ever saw us two together, you wouldn't expect us to have made such good friends. But I mean, like polar opposites almost. But I don't know what it was. Me and him, we got along. We got along very well. Well, he had an apartment in the complex right across the street from mine, and I knew his sister. He's from somewhere around Maryland, I believe. DC area, we'll put it that way. His sister was a civilian contractor, and part of her job was she would be in and out at the actual Pentagon when she wasn't in her own office, just as need was, you know. So I called Brian, that's my friend's name. I called Brian that morning when I saw what was going on. I said, man, have you been able to get a hold of your sister? And he's like, no, man, I've been trying for an hour and a half. I'm freaking out. And he knew this because the cell towers were overloaded up there. I mean, nobody could get through on cell phones to anybody at that time. But he didn't know that day whether she was going to be at the Pentagon when it got hit, or if she was going to be back in her office, or anywhere in between. But we had an exam that day, and it was a particularly difficult exam. Some computer stuff. That's what my major was, MIS. And a big exam coming up that day. So I called the professors on Brian's behalf, and I'm like, look, Brian can't get a hold of his sister. Is there any way you can put the exam off for him, or at least cancel class until we all figure out what's going on? And then we'll come back next week and do all this later when we've got our minds where they need to be. And the decision that was made was, no, y'all need to come in, do this exam. We've had it on the schedule for a month now, so just plan on being here. So I walk over to Brian's place. I'm trying to get him kind of peeled off the ceiling a little bit. Tell him we got to get ready and go to class, take exams, all that business. So don't think that 9/11 didn't affect me in any way, because I got to watch a guy trying to figure out whether his sister was dead or not, and then go. I don't know how he did on the exam the first time he took it, but I do know he was offered the opportunity to take it again 2 weeks later with no penalties. So I'm assuming that says a little something about how he did that day. We did find out later that evening that his sister was nowhere near the Pentagon when the plane hit it. She was okay. And everything was all right for us. I lost my train of thought a little bit. Yeah, at that time I was starting my third year in the MIS program, and I'd changed my major a couple of times because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do when I was 18, if you can fathom that. So I was not a 21-year-old third-year student. I was a 23-year-old third-year student. But there for about probably a good solid month after 9/11, I was way, way, way preoccupied with going ahead and dropping out of school and trying to enlist in the Marines or the Army or whoever would take me. And this was before I got fat and I was pretty athletic, so I figured I had a pretty good shot at being a Marine at the very least. But on one hand, I had this feeling like I needed to do something. I needed to do my part, try to help. But then on this other hand, 23-year-old me, who's actually starting to make rational decisions. Not that enlisting in the military is an irrational decision. Don't think I'm saying that. Like I said, a lot of my friends are active and former military. It's just not everybody's path. Anyway, the other side of me that was thinking a little bit more clearly and a little bit more long range was saying, it's not for everybody. You've already come this far in college. You've changed your mind this many times, and you found what you think it is that you want want to do, and you made it this far into the program, your grades are good, there's a good chance you're going to be able to get a good job when you come out of this. Stick with it. Stick with something for once, and see this through, and then afterwards see what happens. So that's what I did. And I didn't end up finding a job in the computer field, because by the time I graduated, I figured out that there was no way that somebody like me could be stuck behind a desk or in a cube farm listening to a telephone ring and staring at a computer screen all day. So I actually became a car salesman. Yeah, imagine me. No, I did that for about 5 years. And then I got into the wholesale side of cars as a buyer. And anything that I didn't sell to a local dealer that I'd bought, I'd take back to auction and sell those. When I got tired of doing that, I thought, well, I grew up doing landscaping and construction and that kind of stuff. Those were my summer jobs when I was a teenager, and I always enjoyed doing those. So I thought, well, I can handle doing that. I like being outside. I like having a view that changes from day to day. I enjoy working with my hands. I like, at the end of the day, being able to look back at what I've done over the course of the day and see that I've changed the world around me just a little bit. So I didn't have enough money to buy all my own equipment and all that stuff quite yet, so I got a job working for somebody else and started saving my pennies. And you know, sure enough, it took me about 4 good years before I could get enough stuff to really legit be out on my own and start seeking out customers. But ever since then, I mean, there's been some hard times. I'm not even going to try to lie to you about that, but I mean, right now, this is the last 3 or 4 years especially, life's good. I can't complain about anything. I have no idea how long I've rambled about stuff that nobody gives a crap about, but this right here is where I'm going to stop anyway. About to wear myself out talking. So, on that note, y'all have a good day.